Hey guys, coming at you from the frozen tundra that is East Central Alberta, Canada, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, Float, Odyssey, Telegram, and Twitch. Welcome back to the workshop where we create community, find freedom, promote preparedness, and share success. I am Toolman Tim, and today is August 7th, 2022. And you know what's kind of cool? This is episode 150 of the Workshop podcast. I always like those numbers that just kind of, I don't know, it's hard to believe it's been 150 episodes already. Let's just put it at that. I'm excited. And in a minute, we're going to have Mike come on from Snail Creek. What a great guy. I get to meet him in person at the LFTN Spring Workshop. He is a builder and a doer of things. You're going to enjoy his conversation, I promise. So real quick, we'll get the announcements out of the way. First one is, if you haven't followed Mike on Snail Creek Homestead, I pinned his URL to his channel in the comments tonight. So make sure you go by and show him some workshop love. And somebody said the streams are broken over on Telegram. Sorry, guys. Been having troubles over there lately. But speaking of Telegram, come by and join us on the Telegram group. Seems like every single episode we have one or two people come by and join. So take a minute, come on by and become part of the Telegram community, because that is the place where we share, where we joke as well. I know it's hard to believe that we actually have some fun in there too, but it's the best place to come by, get to know everybody from the workshop, and go from there. Now, this Thursday, I've got, I asked you guys for some tips on milk crates. You guys know I love milk crates, and that is going to be the episode on Thursday evening. So I wanted to plug that ahead of time so you guys knew it was coming. And finally, today's tool, something I used all weekend long building the deck for Becky over at the daycare. It's a Dewalt Tough Series 25-foot tape measure. They say that thing will survive a 100-foot fall. I haven't tested it yet, but I have thrown it across my driveway just to see, and it held up pretty good. So that's in the description. It's in the link and comments from everywhere. And if you're interested, that's the easiest way to support the workshop, is pick something up on Amazon or start your shopping from there and go from there. Without further ado, let's bring Mike on. Hey, Mike, how are you?
Hi, how y'all doing?
Good, good. Good to have you, man. Looks like you're sitting out in the field, are you?
Yeah, we get better reception up here on the hill, so we figured we'd try this.
That's all right. As long as the wind don't come and blow you away, we're all set, hey?
Right.
Yeah. So for those who don't know who you are, Mike, tell us who Mike is from Snail Creek and go from there, bud.
All right. Yeah, well, I've been married for 30 years, and we have 3 kids and 6 grandkids. So we're pretty happy about that. Also, I met my wife in Canada. I don't know, that was kind of a same thing where you're at up in there, but around
you might have told me that. I can't remember for sure. Where was it?
You know where Iron Bridge is?
Not really.
Straight up from Michigan.
Okay.
And it was up around there. We was just on a fishing trip, and my family and her family knew each other, and they just stopped and said hi while we was there at the cabin. So
I love that.
Yeah.
30 years later, you're still together, hey?
Yeah. So didn't know she lived like 15 minutes from me.
Isn't that awesome? Go all the way across, all the way north to Canada and find a lady that you only live 15 minutes away from.
That's right. Yeah.
And then 3 kids and 6 grandkids later.
Yeah. Here we are.
Nice. What I always ask this question, I forgot to ask you, but what was your first paid job, or the first job you ever did? I always love hearing that from people.
Yeah. I worked at Danner's Dollar Store for a little bit. I think it's called 5 and Dime back then. But just for a little while until I got on Gar Hill Bait Shop. That was more my thing. So we did, we'd run the cash registers and, put rental boats in the lake for people and count night crawlers, a lot of night crawlers. So, but that was a good job.
Nice. I can't even, that's got to be fun trying to count worms, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. Great big flats of night crawlers, and put them in cups and count.
Man, I don't know. I guess you can always advertise, we have worms, right? But that always made me. So where'd you go from there, Mike? How did you get into homesteading?
Well, first I went to school to be a tool maker. And so I'm a journeyman tool maker now, and for 30 years. And so I learned a lot of skills from that trade, anything that I could learn, like pick up welding, fabricating. That's not really the things I did at work that much, but if they're willing to, train me, I'm willing to learn stuff like that. And my dad always did building on not much on the side, more for himself. And he had some rental houses and a lot of remodels. So that's how I did a lot of my wood stuff, I guess you'd say.
What is a tool maker? What is that?
Yeah, so I work for a stamping plant that makes auto parts.
Okay.
So we actually make the brackets, like under the hood, maybe seat brackets, maybe trunk hinges, not the big body panels.
Okay.
So things like that. So the tool that stamps and cuts and bends them parts, that's what I make and maintain. I do more maintaining nowadays than building.
You still doing it?
Yeah, we've been doing it. I've been there for 30 years. Also.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you, if they need a new stamp or whatever, then you'll put the whole thing together. That's the idea.
Yeah, a lot of them. I mean, they're in stages and steps. They could weigh. I mean, some of them weigh 10,000 pounds. So, so it's a it could be 20 stations in it to make a part. It could be a deep draw, like a can.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to explain, but it's pretty interesting job. It's real tight tolerancing, Yeah.
I can imagine. And you had a gutter business for a little while too, or an eaves trough business, as I call it up here.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I can back up one step before that. I built my own house. We built from scratch. I think I probably started when I was about 29 years old building it. Didn't know any better. Didn't know nothing. I mean, but didn't know enough to jump into something like that. But yeah, we built a nice house. Took me probably a year to get it built, and my own general contractor. The bank kind of was squirming around for a kid to do it, but I just did everything myself, and it really helps out to be able to especially on the mortgage.
Oh yeah.
So
you didn't have to pay a contractor at all. You did everything yourself.
Yeah, we did everything. I didn't do the drywall. That's the finished drywall because I had so much going on, and it'd take me forever to do the whole house.
So where did you live while you were building your house?
Well, that's kind of funny there. We had to sell our house first, and we got a rental house. In about 2 days, we got kicked out of it because I'm not for sure what happened there, but I can't really remember. But we had a squabble with the landlord, I think about parking, and I just showed up for a minute to grab something to eat and go to the work site, I guess you'd say, to the house build. But I ran right back out to the truck. I thought I parked in the right spot, but this guy was wild on parking spots. So one argument later, we was homeless. So
yes, sir.
Yeah. So we had a family member. He had a big house. He let us stay there for a little while. And as soon as we could get in the door, my kids slept in the bathtub. I finished one bathroom. That was it. And the other bathroom, I didn't have the toilet in it, we did have the bathtub. Yep. They slept in the bathtub, all three little kids, everybody's little, it was pretty rough. I got a pretty good wife. She hangs in there with me pretty good. So, but we got it built. So here we are. Did you
make any big mistakes while you were building, or did you learn anything interesting?
Yeah, I think I would like to make it 2 feet wider.
How come?
Well, I got a drive-in basement with two doors, but I have no entry door.
Ah.
It's good for security, not having to be able to kick that in very easy. But man, it's a pain sometimes. Gotta go all the way back to the other door and come in, or I forget my garage door opener. I carry it with me, like bringing wood in or something. And so
I just did the same thing. I just fenced in So I always had my man door on the outside of my fence for my garage. Now it's on the inside, thinking it would be easier and it is easier, but it creates a whole nother host of problems. So yeah, I get it. Yeah, that's funny. I always like asking people that when they've done big projects, like what did you learn, or what would you have done a little bit different?
Yeah, I would have done my own drywall too, by the way.
Really? Was that just a time thing, or was it you just weren't interested?
Yeah, it was more of a time thing. It was so overwhelming. I would work. So I worked 10 hours a day at the shop.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it started at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'd be off in whatever 10 hours is, 10 and a half because of lunch. 11 hours drive home. So I'd be there till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. And it was pretty tough. But I did have some helpers. My dad hung in there with me. He was very big encouragement to me. A lot of times I felt stuck, and he's just like, kick me in the ass and keep on going. You're tired, you're cold. I built it in the wintertime too.
Oh.
Of course, that was the timing of the house sale. So, and we had an ice storm in late November, December. And have you ever heard of anybody building a whole shell of a house and putting shingles on it and had 0 interior walls in it?
That's pretty rare.
Yeah. But when you got about 1.5 inches of ice, you can't break through. It rained ice deep. And so I got the house hot enough after I got it framed in a little bit with torpedo heaters and and sledgehammers, and we beat the ice off the floors, and I got my interior walls.
Oh my goodness. So it actually, oh wow, that's insane. So you didn't even so the ice actually got into the house then, hey?
Oh yeah, there was no roof. It was just a subfloor when it first iced.
No. Okay.
And I was not waiting until spring.
Oh, poor Mike.
Yeah. And of course it was one of the coldest winters of the last 10 years or whatever.
I don't know if did you say where you live?
Indiana.
Okay. Yeah. So you get a little bit of everything for weather then, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, it gets, it's been as cold as 10 below. Probably not for a real long time, but I remember it getting that cold, and it was probably a lot of 0 days out there when we was building.
Oh, that's
my father-in-law. Yeah, my father-in-law helped too, and that was good. And I'll just say something about my cousin. He's my age. He's a working machine. He wired my house for me.
Yes, sir.
He just said, "What do you need me to do?" I said, "I gave him a little piddly jobs to do," and he came back a couple of days later and said, "No, I need something to do." So I said, "Okay, wire my house." He's like, gave me a Sharpie, said, "Tell me where you want the switches at, and let's go." So
family's great, hey?
Yeah, he's awesome.
So you then you eventually started a gutter business, did you?
Yeah. So yeah. So I got the house built. I tried to relax for maybe a year or two. And we started doing gutters. Just they told us at work, I was used to working 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. They told us we was going to 40 hours and not going back.
Wow.
That was the business plan. So I thought, well, I got money, I'm going to start a business, a side business. So I took $10,000 and I built a roll form machine, bought one.
Okay.
And a cargo trailer, and off we went. For about 5 years, I did gutters until probably maybe 2007, maybe 2008.
How come you stopped? Just time, or was it just not working out, or what?
My oldest boy was getting ready to graduate, and I freaked out and panicked, not being able to spend quality time with my family. I'm gone. Yeah. I would pull out of the house at 4:30 in the morning, come home, get in the gutter truck, and probably maybe pull back in at 10 o'clock at night.
Oh yeah, I get it.
Yeah. I'm going to kick a light on right here.
Yeah, you go right ahead. Yeah, I was just going to say, starting to get a little bit dark there. There you go. Oh yeah. Oh, that's perfect. Oh, that's cozy. That's cool. Is
that okay?
Yeah, that's great, man. Yeah, almost looks professional.
Yeah.
No, that's great. All right. So what do you guys do on the homestead now?
Yeah, right now my biggest income, I guess, my producing thing is goats. They're Kinko, Kiko.
Okay.
So they're a meat goat. They come from New Zealand,
Okay.
and they're. I'm sure you've seen the boar goats with the brown head, white bodies.
Mm-hmm.
So they're a little. The boars are a little heavier than the Kinko goats, but the Kinkos are more like a brush goat. So these things are tough. And I started out in boar goats. All I can do is kill them. So I'm, so we got some Kinko goats, and that's what we're running right now. And
so do you process them yourself, or do you ship them off somewhere?
Yeah, well, I sell everything that somebody buy.
Okay.
So my wethers most of the time get sold to a meat buyer.
Okay.
And then my does will go to, I'm a kind of I call it mid-range seed stock guy. So I try to start other herds with my does,
Oh,
my
okay.
quality does. So you get a premium for those. So that's my money maker, is the purebred. People want purebred papered goats.
So you're selling them as breeders then?
Yeah.
Cool. And how many do you have on hand at any given time?
If I got 25 breeding does, everybody has twins.
Do they usually?
I probably, for being alive, I probably have a 1.7 to a 1.8 ratio.
Okay.
On getting to being able to sell it, I guess.
Yep.
So no, they all don't make it, but my niche is I don't know if you call it rough or not, but they need to fend for themselves.
Okay.
They're out with dogs in the pastures at night, and they have to get out and forage their own food. And
so you make them as the least amount of work as possible for you, then, is the idea.
Yeah, and the buyer.
And okay. So yeah, because you're setting them up to be tough and hardened off. And so do you as far like, is there much input cost in them?
Yeah, at times. My fencing is not probably what it should be. I have 3 strands electric.
Okay.
And I have 17 different paddocks. I call them paddocks, the little pastures. And we rotate probably whenever the pasture calls for, because of the herd size or the pasture size. But between 3 and 10 days, they get moved.
How big of a paddock is it?
Well, there's different sizes. Okay. It might be a half acre one, or it might be a 4 or 5 acre one.
So that leads me into you build a lot of different things. So the electrical fence that you were pulling, was that was that part of one of your paddocks?
Yeah. People say, being inventive, it's just a necessity sometimes. It's not as much as being smart as being, man, I can't roll this thing up by myself here,
Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah.
So I'm just scratching my head like, we have to be able to roll this up. I mean, I can't do it. So that's where I came up with, they have big hand crankers.
Yep, I've seen those.
Yeah, but
so explain what you built.
Yeah, so I took my quad runner, my 4x4 quad runner, I guess you call them, and first I built a rack on the front of the quad runner, and it holds 2 5-gallon buckets in case I need to take feed or water to them. That's out way out from the house. But that piece is made out. I just had angle iron. I guess to me, somebody's weird if they don't have a scrap pile in their yard, right?
Yeah, so, you should see mine.
Yeah. So I go to the scrap pile and I dig out some angle iron, and we have some reels at work, some plastic reels they throw away. So that looked like that would fit. So I built my reel to my cage to fit the reel, and then I just put a piece of threaded rod to it and I welded a little like a bolt on it for like a keyway. so it wouldn't just spin in the housing. It would drive the reel. So
And what you
that's how I ended
power
up
it
doing
with?
it.
That's the
Yeah,
best part. What you powered it with?
yeah, I seen you comment on that actually. Yeah, for the motor I use a Dewalt. I don't remember what battery, but the batteries now are way better than they used to be. So yeah, that's my drive, a Dewalt drill, and you got to watch it, keep it in low gear because it gets winding it up fast.
And that was pulling it through brush and everything, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. That was probably, I don't know how many. We pasture only 16 acres, but
Okay.
but I have miles of fence in here, because of how much I got it cut up. And like that one on that video that I posted, there was trees starting to fall on it, and it just needed for me to get in there and cut trees, big trees out. So I need to get that out of the way. And but it ran, I drug it all through the woods.
I think that was one of the first videos of yours I watched when I first knew you had content, because of course I seen Dewalt and it was a homemade kind of thing, and it was pretty cool, man. I had to say, like, it was simple. That's what I like about your designs. Like, they're simple in a good way. They're, and you typically make things out of what you have on hand, which I like. And what else? Oh, so you built a chicken plucker too, did you?
Yeah. So we do meat birds. I'm getting a light here a little bit.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Yeah, we do meat birds. I usually do. I don't know why I do this, but I do about 100 meat birds every other year.
Okay.
Because they're just a pain. They're a heavy Cornish cross, and they'll weigh 8-10 pounds if that's nice. There's a lot of bird there.
Yep.
So I started back in the day. Before all these, I got that many. I was skinning them, hanging them on a clothesline, and just skinning them. Well, again, that don't work. So we needed a plucker. So I went to YouTube. YouTube's a good place to get encouraged and learn what somebody's came up with.
Absolutely.
I forget the guy's name. I like to give him credit for it. It's something engineer or something. And but I made it out of a 55-gallon rubber drum. I bought the fingers, the little black plucker fingers. And then we had an old electric motor up on the hill in my scrap, and I put a pulley on it off of a scrap lawnmower, but it ran too fast. It ran way too fast. So I ended up getting we had an old cement mixer, and it's about 2 foot diameter. That pulley was. So we put that on there, and to get it slowed down and get it geared to get real good, and put some water heads on it, hook the garden hose up to it. Man, it plucks them real fast, real good.
That's awesome. That was something Becky and we used to do. A few years we did about 75, and we hand plucked every single one of them.
That's rough.
And I always wanted to. I just never built one, but that's cool. I don't know. I love everything. It seems like everything you build, you're like, oh yeah, I got this piece kicking around here and that piece there, and it's just from experimenting. Hey.
Yeah. Well, they say invention's what is that? The mother of
necessity's the mother. No, invention. Yeah, I know what you mean. We all know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Necessity's the mother of invention. Well, I just think sometimes it's just a mother, and it needs to be. We need to fix it. So
yeah,
that plucking wasn't going to fly with me. Not for long.
I never skinned them. Because of course you lose. I mean, I like the skin on the chicken for the most part. That's the other thing. And what was it easier to skin them than pluck them by hand, or no?
I don't know. I don't know. I just don't want to do either one if I can help it anymore.
I get it. Yeah. Chris Dixon, I'm sure you've seen him on here before. He says you sound like a guy he'd get along real well with, and absolutely, you guys are both cut from the same cloth.
Yeah, I see his comments on some of your stuff there, and he looks like he's spot on. Yeah,
he made like a rock tumbler out of an old one of them pads you stood on, and it would vibrate you.
Yeah,
and that was really neat. I always like seeing people do that kind of stuff. So what else have you built?
Well, I guess back to the goats a little bit. I built a bulk. Can you hear? Am I getting feedback from a quad runner running up the road?
Okay. No, not at all. You're good.
Okay. So, well, back on them goats again. So, in order to get some grain, I do feed grain in the winter.
Okay.
Because I do bring them in to like a dry lot in the wintertime for about probably 3 months. But so you can buy feed in a bag, but it costs a lot more money unless you buy it by the ton.
Yes.
Bulk. So I bought a dump trailer, mostly because I wanted one, right?
Oh, yes.
But I thought, how am I going to get that out? I can't just throw the grain gate open and or the gravel gate open on it and all the grain falls out, right? So
right.
I cut into it and made a nice sliding grain door. Then I take my loader bucket and put it underneath that door, just pull it up, the grain goes in, I close the door, and then I go dump it in my grain hopper. I built that too. We built a 1-ton grain hopper back to the scrap pile again. There was an old heavy tubing rack there. So this thing's probably 10 feet by 6 or 8 feet tall. And then I took sheet metal and bent it, and tacked it on, and it's a big funnel looking.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
yeah. And I thought about building something like that on my dump truck. I wanted to have, when I go get gravel, I'd like to be able to control it coming out. So I may have to pick your brain on that.
Yeah. We'll do that.
What about I gotta say, I think probably my favorite invention of yours is the way that you use a regular old wood stove with a frying pan. Can you explain that a little bit? Because it's really cool.
Yeah. So my winters is not as bad as your winters, but I get bored pretty fast. So I like to cook on the wood stove a lot with grandma's cast iron skillet or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
So you can open it up and put it in there on the coals or whatever, but I was like, didn't care for that much because all your eggs or whatever go to one side, and you're trying to cook because it ain't level.
Yeah.
So being a tool maker, got all that every daily knowledge or whatever. It's nothing. All the guys I work with it's not a big deal, just what we do. So I bolted this arm on, but it would not go inside. So I had to make a 2-hinged to get inside of the wood stove. The arm had to be hinged twice, pivot twice to get into the wood stove, which that was pretty good. So I make all my breakfasts when I'm off work, and very very interesting to do. But
so it's basically like an arm. It for people that because it's like a 2-pivot arm, right? Like something like you'd have your microphone or something on, but of course it's quite a bit sturdier than that.
Yeah,
and it swings, and then it allows you. Was it a grill, like a piece of wire grill that you used to set it? I can't remember what you used to set the pan on.
I think I made the whole thing out of 1x1 solid steel bar, and but yeah, it's hinged twice with a shoulder bolt type for it to hinge inside the stove. And I can even take it off because I just took bolts and bent them 90 degrees and then took 2 nuts and welded onto the plate I bolted onto the stove. So it can you just stick it in, stick both of them in, and you can take it off or put it on. But it gets out of the way for the wood and it's not in nobody's way. So that was the goal.
What I thought was great. It was so ingenious. You guys got to check his video out for that too, because it's pretty ingenious. I love the simplicity of it, and it lets you, like you said, it lets you slide it in there without it being uneven on the coals and wanting to spill. And
yeah.
And then also, go ahead.
Yeah, a few years ago I built a oven to put on top of it, so to make like bread or something. That took a little doing. You had to get the fire pretty hot to get that box going. I didn't do a video on it, but I'll do a video this winter on that. That's pretty good. And then just on top, we put a cast iron skillet or a soup bean pot on top of it, and make soup beans in the winter and spend a lot of time on the wood stove there.
Nothing tastes quite as good as being cooked on a wood stove, does it?
No, it's good.
I got a question for you here from Haas from the audience.
All right.
I wanted to know, what is your all-time favorite invention that you've built? That's a good one. I like that.
That's a good question there. Probably one of my most challenging. So I like the challenge a little bit, but again, it's back to necessity.
Mm-hmm.
back to my goats. They're in the barn. It's springtime now, and my kids are grown and gone. So I had to change. We used to go in there with pitchforks, and I would scrape. Goats are not like the manure is not like cattle. It's not like liquidy. It's mostly hay, probably.
Okay. Is it
and
like
them little?
Yeah.
Yeah, them little needle feet make like almost like a heavy carpet.
Sure.
So if you go in with a loader bucket, it just rolls, which is fine. So it can roll in your bucket, but it's still attached.
Right.
So then I need two boys to hold it with pitchfork while I lift it up and it rips loose.
Yep.
So what did I build? My boys are men now, so it's hard to get them out at the house. So we made a grapple for it. So you can it's mounted to the bucket and it comes down and grabs the hay, the manure. So that was my most challenging. I had to split my hydraulics on the tractor. I put a splitter on it, and then I made it all myself except for the splitter. And I went to we have a thing called Rule King here, like a tractor supply type. I bought a cheap Chinese cylinder, and I bought the hoses there. And during Christmas break in our shop, I just put it all together. But that is my most handy, fulfilling thing I probably made. It just takes a lot of work out of it.
That's cool. When you first said grapple, I thought you meant just like a manual grapple. I had no idea you meant hydraulics and everything.
Oh yeah. Well,
That's awesome.
Put a splitter on it, but I lose one function of the bucket.
Okay.
So the splitter will split the hydraulics. So I got two coming in, and then instead of two going out of the block, there's four going out. You have to just I manually move it.
Okay.
They have, you can buy them. They're called the third. I don't remember if they're called something thumb, third thumb or something. But it's got a solenoid on it to block your hydraulics. But you're talking $1,000, $1,200. So,
right. So why not build it yourself?
Yeah. So there we are.
So we were talking before the show there a little bit, but what do you so you're fairly do you heat much with the wood, or is it just kind of supplemental heat for you?
Yeah, we probably heat. We have a 300-gallon LP tank, gets trucked in.
Okay.
And we probably make it last between 3 and 4 years at LP, one tank.
How big did you say it was?
Probably 300 gallons.
Wow. And you get that wow. So you must do quite a bit of wood heat then to not have to use your propane too much. Almost
all of it. If we're out late at night, the furnace will kick on.
Yep.
I got it set at, I don't know, 64 degrees.
Okay.
So it's a little cool if it kicks on, but if it was high, if I set it at 70, it'd be running all the time. We wouldn't be burning any wood. We would.
I get it.
I put a little pain to it, and it makes you go get a load of wood and put in there.
So do you cut your own wood?
A lot of it's cut from trees here, or my father-in-law, he logged the woods a few years ago. We did a lot of cutting out there, but as my boys grow again, so I got a wood splitter too now. I didn't have a wood splitter while the boys were at home. Right?
I get it.
So I'm trying to find an easier way to get my wood cutting. So there's a sawmill up the road. That's probably 3 or 4 miles up the road. I can buy big slabs of wood. I guess how they square it up, with the sawmill.
Yep.
Then I bring them home on a flatbed trailer, and I saw them up into 18, 20-inch long pieces. They may still need split a little bit, but that's seems to be I'm the guy for the least resistance. I mean, I'm straining all the time. It just feels like you're just always straining. So I try to make it as easy as I can possibly get it.
We're not getting any younger, and like you said, the kids, they get old and move away, and they have their own lives. So you always got to figure out a way to work easier for yourself, eh?
Yeah. I don't like to beg.
No,
they'll help me. They'll get in there and help me, but I just don't. I don't know. I just don't like it asking for stuff.
I'm the same way. I will work all weekend long doing my own thing, and then my son will come over. He's like, "Why didn't you ask me to help?" I'm like, "I just like to do it. That's all."
Yeah.
Have you ever built anything out of the slab wood?
Not a whole lot. I did put racks on my dump trailer
Okay.
from that slab wood, and because I sell firewood on the side a little bit.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I try to. Yeah, we can talk later about some of the side businesses. I try to. I'm always doing side businesses too, whatever. But yeah, that's really about it. Well, I use some of the oak are like 2x4, I can get them in like baskets. That's like all fall off.
Okay.
So they like whatever they trim. It might be a 18-inch piece or a 6-inch piece. It's all in a basket.
Okay.
You get a basket for about $10, and 4 baskets will make make 2 ricks.
Okay.
So for $40, you don't have to do much at all. So kind of getting into that a little bit now, but them corners we was talking about, I take the oak ones, and one of my side jobs is I make raised beds for growing.
Okay.
It looked like people want to grow some vegetables for some reason at this time, last couple of years.
Totally get it.
Yeah. So I use a cedar planks, and then the inside corners, instead of buying like a treated board, I'll use those native oak boards from that sawmill for the corners and the bracing. So it all lasts a long time. So
I used to buy a lot of slab wood as well, but everything I ever bought was always softwood. So you get hardwood there too, do you?
Oh yeah, we have no softwood here.
Oh wow, that is a deal then. Because
most of this is oak or beech.
Okay.
There's some poplar in there, but not a terrible amount. So yeah, and these guys, they don't care to buggy out here. The sawmill guys don't care to. They're pretty generous with that cut they take. I mean,
yeah.
My father-in-law came out and he didn't think it would last. That wood I was burning, but he's looked at it like, man, they're wasteful. I'm like, I know. So that's good for us, right?
So what do you do with all the ash when you're done? Because I know that used to become a bit of a pain in the. I did start a fire one time trying to get rid of my ash, but that's another story. But so what do you do with it?
Yeah, so I sprinkle some on my gardens. We try to grow as much food as I can grow here too. And one of the, I think, neater things is for the snow, we have a north-facing hill, and it'll stay icy. Once it's icy, it stays icy for a pretty good while.
Sure.
So yeah, you take that. I don't know what's in the wood ash, but it melts the ice real fast. So I put that on for drive up and down the driveway, and the other things I put out for make sure I don't burn the place down. But I put some in the barn for the chickens or the goats to waller in.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So that'll knock off any lice they have. That's probably, I don't, there's probably a few other things I use it for, but that's probably my most usage.
That's cool. So it gives them something to kind of roll around in, and
yeah.
That's really cool. Haas said here, said we had a fire in our area a few years ago, burned a lot of houses. So we have construction going on all the time. I will need to check those sites out to see if they free leftovers. Are you much of a scrounger?
I'm trying to be, I'm a rehabilitated scrounger.
Well, you fit in well with the workshop then. Yes.
Oh, I used to be really bad. Anybody had anything, they knew I would take anything to the scrap pile, and because when I was doing gutters, I'd take them off houses, so they didn't want the gutters. I had mountains of aluminum gutters, and it was great. And then always doing some other things. If you do gutters, then you have a rotted fascia board.
Yep.
Well, if you got a rotted fascia board, then you got to put fascia on, aluminum fascia over it, so I had a bunch of that, so yeah, we always had the scrap pile is definitely the way to go. I don't remember the part of the question it was actually. What
Well,
was
that's
the
okay.
question?
If you're much of a scrounger, that's all.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I talk about it all the time, just because and I think we talked about this a little before the show started, but the old timers, the farmers, they always made do with whatever they had on hand. So anything you threw up over in the rafters and you could use later on was money that saved you or saved you a trip to town.
Yeah. Yeah, I got exhaust pipe systems in the loft of the barn. Just so when I was younger, my buddies like to put duals on their trucks.
Yep.
Well, they cut the factory pipe off and thrown it away. So I don't know. I got the same truck they had. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you ever get into scrap metal, like taking it back for money or anything, or no?
Oh yeah, always doing that. One thing I have learned there. Here's a pro tip, I guess, from scrapping. So I thought when times get tough, I'll haul my scrap in, but they don't work that way, because when times get tough, economy wise, economy goes down. There's no demand for it, so the price bottoms out.
Right.
So that's a problem. So that was a good pro tip for me, because I was waiting. In 2008, we strained real hard here, in at least the automotive world,
Oh, yes.
So I started hauling scrap and found out that nobody even wanted it.
That's the crazy thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So do you have any tips for making the most money out of your scrap, or did you wait till the price goes up, or
wait till the price goes up? You can do a lot of, you got vehicles, you can take off different components that they want, like a radiator. They used to have a lot of copper and such in there. Maybe it's got a Cadillac converter on it still. The batteries.
Yes.
You get paid separately for the batteries. Talk to your scrap guy, what do they call them? Recycling center.
Yep.
They'll tell you, they don't care to tell you. That's what they do. They strip it down. Your aluminum pieces off the car. Pre-sort things. Whatever you got, just pre-sort it.
Right on. Yeah, I was surprised how much I think last time I took when I first started doing scrap, they said, "Do you have any batteries?" I didn't. I asked them, and I think I made between $15 and $18 per battery the last couple times I took them in. I was impressed, and they only give you, I think it's $5 if you take them back to the store. So
it's more. Yeah, it is more than the store gives you.
And Chris Dixon here, he's good with scrap too. He says, get it all prepped and separate it when the economy is crap, and then take it in when it's good.
Yeah. That's why you got a backyard and a shovel. You bury the money in the backyard, and
that's awesome. Yeah. I say I usually, because I live in town, I don't have a lot of space. I keep copper, brass, and batteries. And then I just have a few garbage cans. I put the stuff, not the batteries, but the copper and the brass, because they don't take up a lot of space to get a good chunk of money with them. So where did you go? You said you ran a few different side hustles and businesses over the years?
Yeah. Like right now I'm doing, the raised beds are really good right now. I probably sold 35 or 40 of those probably.
Yes, sir. Good for you, Mike.
I paid for all of Nicole Living Free in Tennessee's workshop they have there. I paid for all of it with the raised beds.
Nice.
So that was good. That's kind of what spurred me on with these. I knew people wanted food. So anything you can do with food right now, pretty good money maker.
Absolutely.
And right now I'm kind of back to food again. So I've been dabbling in some permaculture type things.
Really?
Yeah. So what I'm doing now, I'm trying to propagate like blueberries, blackberries, elderberries, mulberries. I got apple trees, peach trees, pears. So right now I probably got 1,000 cuttings in a sand bed with a pretty elaborate misting situation on it there. And I hope to pot them up in next year and start selling them. I'm gonna see how that goes. If that works, my goal is to do probably 10,000 trees and see where that takes me.
How big of an area does it take for 1,000 cuttings like that, or 1,000?
You'd be surprised how little it is.
That's what I was thinking.
Size of a picnic table, maybe.
Are you serious? For 1,000?
Yeah, playing 1 inch apart.
Holy shit! That's crazy. And are they taking good so far? Or?
I probably got certain things have
Okay.
the elderberries. So I got store-bought elderberries. I call them store-bought from like a Stark Brothers nursery.
Yep.
They're not as prevalent, but the wild ones here, and they have good elderberries. The native ones, I guess you'd call them.
Yep.
They're rooting like almost 100%. And blackberries are too. But some of my apple trees aren't. I think they're a little wet.
Okay.
So I may move them to another area in the bed because I got sprayers, and so it's just a learning curve, and but I kind of want to, this would be good for you guys to help me with, would be, and I probably need to get on that Telegram channel you talk about.
Sure.
Be held accountable for this next adventure I'm going to try to get. I want to sell, at least 1,000 trees next year, let's say.
So are you going to sell them locally, or are you going to ship them?
I don't know yet.
Okay. I love hearing this stuff. This is awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's like you take a stick and you can make $15 with it.
Right.
Yeah. It takes a year, but so I should be able to stick 10,000 on my side. I at least got 10,000. I can at least do 10,000 cuttings. I don't know how many it's going to live or even what I can sell, but since I like permaculture and I got quite a bit of land and I like food, I don't even care if I sell any. I'll plant it all here.
Well, man, even so, if you planted 10,000 and say you got, I don't know, 50% took and 50% didn't, I mean, it's $175,000, and what kind of, it doesn't sound like there's a whole lot of investment in it. You've already got the space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Your compost, there's certain kind of compost. It's more technical. You hear people on YouTube say you just stick it in the ground or whatever. And yeah, that ain't, maybe a willow tree or something, but it's a little more complicated, so my manure, mulch, and then I have to actually bring in some softwood bark.
Okay.
And we don't have any of that here. So that's expensive. That will be a pretty decent expense. So,
but still, I mean, yeah, I think you'll do well. I know you'll do well with that.
I don't know.
Haas says it's an awesome side hustle idea. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. We don't like blackberries, right? I mean,
are you a blackberry? You got blackberries there too, or no?
Oh yeah, I got blackberries in there. They ain't just trees; it's berries, like blueberries, blackberries, stuff like raspberries. So, that's what we're going to try for another
awesome
side business.
So, how long have you been doing the raised beds? Was that just for a year? Or did you do it for a few years?
Probably a few years, or about 2 years for selling them. I had some for probably 3 years. And
how'd you advertise?
I just put them on Marketplace.
Okay.
I don't have no trouble with Marketplace. I don't have no trouble. Like I can't put my goats on there.
Sure.
I guess you're selling livestock or something. I don't know, but they don't seem to buck around on the raised beds any.
That's cool. So you did, man, what have you done? You did gutters, you've done raised beds, you're doing propagating cuttings now. What else have you done in the past?
Yeah, well, the goats are good. My wife was raising and selling quail. That was a pretty good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a pretty good little business. And she does rabbits. So we do some of them, but we're pretty much scaling back on maybe the rabbit stuff. But I don't know. I don't like peddling. I don't like going to peddling stuff like at a flea market or something. I don't
It's
know.
Such a I don't know what the word for it. It's such a tie. It takes all day, and you always I don't know. I know what you mean. I always felt like I was, I don't know. It's just a pain.
Yeah, it's like you're begging somebody.
That's what I'm looking for. Yep.
It's the wrong market too. If you get in the right market, you can sell anything you got.
Absolutely. Chris says, are you going to keep talking about the cuttings or whatever? You're going to keep them for more than a year at all to get any better money, or are you just going to do 1 year on the first batch?
I'm going to try to sell everything I can.
Okay.
And I'm sure there'll be some held back because I'm probably not a lot to learn probably on the selling aspect of it. I would think nobody knows me, and
right.
I'm out in the middle of nowhere. So, but back to that shipping, I don't know why I couldn't. I mean, some survival podcast people, right? They're all talking about mulberries trees. I got mulberry trees. You know, I mean, you know, maybe you can ship bare root trees, and you know, for a lot cheaper than you can get other places.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I know it's a lot of willow and things, but Nick Ferguson, he does his fodder trees. He ships them through the mail. I can't see why you couldn't.
Yeah, he sells out, so I know there's opportunity there.
Oh, absolutely. And some of that stuff is, like you said, there's not a ton of work involved. It's just, you know, getting it going. Chris also said, I said very little exposure for little reward at farmers and flea markets, and that's what it is, you know.
Yeah, it is.
Especially after a week or two, then it's just all of a sudden the same people week in and week out, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, Bonnie Blue. Oh yeah, Bonnie Blue wanted to know what state you're in. I know we talked earlier, but you can tell. Yeah, mention again.
Indiana.
Nice. Yeah.
Tell Bonnie Blue. She comments on a lot of my stuff on MeWe. And,
okay, she's great.
I don't know her, but I appreciate her comments.
Not nice. I like that. Are you worried about the winter for the cuttings at all, or do you think they'll overwinter pretty good?
I think they'll overwinter pretty good. I got some more research to do on that. Some people will put maybe a small covering over them, but I think I'm gonna leave them go and see what happens.
I mean, for something the size of a picnic table, you wouldn't need to build a whole lot. You know, protection wise, wouldn't be huge anyway.
Well, now I've built out to get to 10,000. I've built out 16 feet long, 4 feet wide.
Okay.
And then I just built one this weekend. I went and got a load of sand with the dump trailer, right?
Yeah. Oh, I love the dump trailer. Yeah.
And I got 2 of those now. So there's not much room.
So jumping around just a little bit, because I wanted to ask you about this too, because I've never done something this big, but you guys have done some butchering yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I do all my
jumping over a little, but you mentioned it to me and I wanted to get you to talk about it.
So we're all do-it-yourselfers, you know. So I started out raising these kids, and you know, times are pretty tight at different times. So we're allowed probably 6 deers. So
nice.
Especially if the boys are hunting. There's only two limit that year. They kind of change it around, but with 2 boys and me. So anyway, we'd have 6 deers at a time, and that's what kind of fed us. And I've taken places when I was younger, and I was like, yeah, this is not good. You get 2 garbage or Walmart bags full of meat for, I don't remember what it was back then, but probably $75. And yeah, so I started butchering everything myself. I have no real training, I guess you'd say, but so we butcher. So I butcher all my deer. I butcher. Only time I butcher a goat is if it needs to be butchered, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, I get it. Has to be dispatched, right?
Yeah.
Just like that. Yeah.
We do the chickens. We do the quail. Quail is so easy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's like pulling a rubber glove off.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a little video on that quail butchering too. That's a pretty good one.
Okay.
And it's just so easy. We do all our own hogs. I do hogs for not other people, but like people in the family or whatever.
Hey, we're all friends here.
Yeah. And but this year my biggest thing I've ever butchered is I did a steer by myself.
Yes. And okay, so how much did it weigh? Do you know? First, I'm curious.
Yeah, I think it was about 1,200 pounds. I have a real good friend that he sells steer. He always gets taken by the buyers.
Yep.
You know, so I gave him a fair price, and we had no way to weigh it, so I weighed it in pieces. So like a back quarter.
Yep.
Front shoulders, you know, the whole thing. So but yeah, I did the whole thing myself, that with no help. I didn't ask nobody. I just wanted to see if I could do it. It was over Thanksgiving this year.
So
Thanksgiving,
pretty cool.
Yeah, Thanksgiving morning, I went and shot it out in the field. Got it hung off the bucket. Youngest boy did help me get it skinned out and back to the dump trailer again. We put it in the dump trailer, brought it home, and then I quartered it in the dump trailer. We built it's a great big I-beam. Came out of a house, got tore down.
Yeah, okay.
Big H I-beam.
Yep.
Probably about 14 feet tall. So I hung it off it, and
So
that's what I.
explain that a little, so did you run the I-beam like up in the rafters, or did you build a
It's
stand?
Yeah, it's freestanding on the outside of the garage doors.
Okay.
It's above the eaves or gutters
Yeah.
of the barn, and
Okay.
it's freestanding there. It looks like an H, I guess you'd say, and it's got block and
Oh,
tackle on it. You know, the
yeah.
old block and
Yeah. Yeah.
tackles, and that's the one thing we built. That was a real challenge getting that big I-beam up there. It's a pretty good size, like for a house type size I-beam. That was kind of a challenge. I can talk about that in just a second. It was nothing you really want to do twice. I had the loader, and then I had about a 12-foot 4x4 bolted to the loader bucket.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was trying to set it with this tractor,
Oh,
and it wasn't big enough. So I took car ramps and drove up on the car ramps.
and
But
it
we got it
helped?
up. Yeah, we got it up there. Yeah.
Oh my.
So yeah, that was scary. I thought we was gonna die that day, but you know, I prayed a little bit for that one. So
That's
I
awesome.
did on a Sunday right after I prayed, and so I thought that would be
You are all right.
yeah.
So what were the challenges of doing? So first I got at what'd you shoot it with?
308.
308. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I always used a 30-30 for my pigs just because I was always worried the 22 would bounce off it, so.
Yeah, you know, I got an old for the pigs. I got an old 22 single shot. This one
No
for
problem.
kids.
Never had any issues.
No, never.
Okay.
Says it hits the ground. I got a razor sharp knife about a foot long.
Yep.
And stick that, and then it's take a few minutes and drink some coffee and
let it do its thing.
But the cow, I had to shoot it twice. I didn't like that, but it was it went down, but then it got right back up.
Oh shit! That makes you feel bad, doesn't it?
Yeah, I hit it again, and it was good after that. I mean,
did you tie him off before you? Did you have
no,
him tethered? No.
These things are wild. These things see you, they take off running.
Okay.
It was more of a hunt than a.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then did you use your tractor bucket right out there to lift him up and kind of gut him and everything?
Yeah, the farmer, he had about 100 horse tractor out there. You know, my tractor wouldn't handle it. I got a 30 horse like Kubota.
Yep.
It would just roll my. It only picks up like 800 pounds.
Oh yeah, okay.
And
so you went right to the farmer's place and shot it there then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
So
yeah,
my buddy, he's a friend of mine, and
okay.
You know, so he went out there with me and make sure I got the right one, I guess.
Yeah, you'd feel kind of bad, wouldn't you? So what'd you learn butchering something that big?
Well, I need 3 days.
Okay.
And I don't have a cooler.
Right.
So usually they hang for what, 7-10 days or something.
Yep.
So I did it on Thanksgiving morning. It was raining, of course. Got it hung up. I missed Thanksgiving dinner because I'm still out there in the rain. And got that hung up. And then I was kind of rested for a day after that, right? And got my shop set up, my butcher shop.
Yep.
Got all my grinders and stuff out. And so what did I learn? Your perfect weather. You got to really watch the weather if you're going to leave something hang out. This is a lot of money hanging here, right? I mean, this is a grass-fed beef too. I mean, but I found it wasn't as tough as I thought it'd be. It's a real good eating steak. It don't have as much marbling in it not because of the grass-fed.
Right.
But we do probably 75% burger anyway.
Sure. Yeah.
So I took all the excellent cuts of meat and made steaks out of those, de-roast, and then ground everything else.
That's cool.
It wasn't that bad. I have a kind of a video on that too, of a little bit of it. I didn't know how much I can get away with on YouTube, so I didn't show a whole lot.
I wonder that too. So Haas asked this question. I don't know. He wanted to know if the kids participated in the butchering. So when they were younger, did you ever have them help you with butchering and things?
Oh yeah. All my kids can butcher everything that walks. There's no way. My kids are, I know people brag, but my kids can do anything like that. Anything I can do, they can do.
Nice.
So
That makes you feel good as a dad, hey?
My daughter, I didn't know she was pregnant at the time. I had her changing oil in the car.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, if you can drive a car, you know, and she was working. She was out of school, you know, college, going to college or whatever. And it was like, you know, you get out there. She had to change her tires, you know, no doubt she can do that, but she can change her own oil. So I mean, that may not be huge, and I know it ain't, but for a little girl that weighs 97 pounds, you know, she knows what to do. So, and them boys can do anything. So pretty proud of my kids. They're doing good. So
that's awesome. Do you guys still hunt together some, or?
I haven't as much. I kind of hunt off the front porch more than anything.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I got my license and all. Actually, I got lifetime license. So, and
how does that work? I'd never heard of that before.
Yeah. So when I was in high school, maybe I just got out of high school. So I graduated in 90. I would say by 92, they stopped that lifetime license. So for like $750, you could get a lifetime hunting license.
Really?
It was a lot of money for me in I probably did it in 90, 91. I probably made $7 an hour. So,
oh wow,
you know, that was a lot of money, but it paid for itself over and over again. The licenses are probably $25 a deer now. So over 20 years of hunting, you know, it's probably for sure paid for itself. Yeah,
that's cool. I hadn't heard of that. That was just something they offered at the time. Hey.
Yeah, it was great. They stopped doing that. They seen that wasn't going to pan out for them, right? I mean,
yeah. Because then they get the money and they spend it, and they're like, oh, now we don't have that recurring income anymore.
Yeah, the wife does most of the hunting. She just says, hey, there's a deer, so such and such place, and I go out of the shop. Like we got a shop at the house. We do work in the shop there too, and you know, let's take the gun and go. I do go hunting. I mean, but it's just you know, I try to be I'm most efficient I can be.
Yep.
You know, open morning, you can't miss open morning. I know usually most of it gets done then, but if not, we'll pick one up here and there.
I have a relative, I won't mention his name, but his wife always shot her deer before he ever shot his, but I don't think she ever spent a minute in the woods. You know how that goes, right?
Yeah. They fed my kids. Deers fed my kids over years.
So what do you got? What kind of plans you got going ahead now? Like what else? You got any other kind of visions or dreams or things you'd like to get done?
Well, I'm 50 years old. I would like to retire at 55, at least the day job. Yep. I'm not going to not work. I know that, but these are some of those things I was wanting to do, like the propagating.
Yep.
You know, I like to have about a few streams of income. Maybe if I have to go back to handyman again, I would, but I kind of just want to do, I don't know. I'm tired of somebody telling me what to do all the time. I am sick of it.
It wears on you, don't it?
Yeah. So at 55, I thought, I don't know about the economy now, but I was going to try to build a bridge account. That way I'm always Mr. Conservative on everything.
Yeah.
So I want at least enough money to pay for everything between 55 and 62.
Sure.
Saved, I guess you'd say. And then go ahead and work and hopefully not use it. But that's one of my main focuses. I am a goal oriented. If I'm not goal oriented, I go after different things that I should focus on one.
I get it. If you don't have a focus on a certain thing, you're all over and getting nothing done, in other words, right?
Yes. We did pay the house off at 45 years old.
Nice, Mike.
Back to focusing. I didn't think we could do it, but I mean, we focused, right? I mean, we did without.
Sure.
So, I mean, a lot without. A lot more than most wives would put up with. My wife was very good. I told her she'd be happy with me when we get it paid off, and she is. But we paid off $95,000 in 2 years and 8 months. So
wow.
And that's after taxes, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and we don't make that much money. I mean, we did without, but that was a vision I couldn't stop thinking about for whatever reason. And,
You get that,
best
yeah,
thing ever
yeah.
happened.
You get that in your head, right? And you're just straight on focus. I knew there's a reason we get along.
Yeah. Well, I don't care what it is. If you focus on it like a laser, you're going to do it. I know people don't believe that, but after I did that, I ran the numbers. The numbers ain't there. The numbers basically lied. I mean, I cannot do this in this amount of time, but we did for
Any
whatever
tips?
reason. Laser focus.
Yeah.
Got to be a team, both of you, the wife and you. I mean, if the wife ain't on board, somebody complaining and bitching the whole time, you're probably either going to divorce or give up. So she's a pretty good old gal. She hangs in there with me. So
that's cool. So
yeah.
you just, every free dollar, every cent you had just went right to it.
Yep. I did have a little help. I sold some hay equipment.
Okay.
When the boys, again, I lost my hay helpers. So I ran numbers again, and I sold some hay equipment, and I buy hay now, and it's cheaper than doing it yourself. I know that sounds crazy, but it is.
Not when you figure in what your time's worth.
You got to figure it in. Yeah.
Oh, and a lot of people don't, and I think that's where some people go wrong is they don't figure in like, oh, I can do this for free. Well, yeah, but even at $20 an hour, what's your time worth, right?
Yeah. And it's square bells. It's not round. This is square.
Oh,
square bells on hills. I mean, so I farmed every little field around here. Neighbors was running up and down roads and with hay equipment, and it's just you can't do hay unless it's 95 degrees, can you?
Yeah. Ain't that? Oh, yeah. I haven't done that since I was a kid. I used to go with my uncle a lot and do it. I enjoyed it, but yeah, we for us it was more climbing on the bales and stuff. We didn't do a lot of work when we were young,
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Well, Mike, man, we've been almost an hour and 10 minutes, Mike. We've had a good conversation.
Yeah.
So where can people find you, Mike?
I started this YouTube channel because I don't know, people would come over and say, "What in the world are you doing now?" So I thought, they just come over and we'd talk about different projects we was doing. So I just started this YouTube channel, Snail Creek Homestead. I don't know if it's a homestead or not. I just called it that because it's a lot of people things like this homesteads.
Absolutely, it's a homestead. Yes.
I just called it trying to scratch a living out. But yeah, so I just kind of follow myself around, whatever I'm doing that day. I try to put 2 videos out a week if I can. I might be growing onions or moving goats from one pasture to the next or cutting firewood. Just a daily thing. What's going on?
That's awesome. Yeah, I love it. I love your content. It's just down to earth, easy going, just kind of shoot the shit, whatever you got going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you on any social media platforms?
MeWe.
Okay.
So I'm under just my name. I don't have I didn't put it in under my Snail Creek Homestead. But that's about it. But I might be interested in branching out. I don't know. I don't know.
That's okay. And what's the easiest way for people to get a hold of you then? MeWe probably, or
probably MeWe. I'm
okay.
Mike Sparks on MeWe.
Okay.
I don't know if I should I change that to Snail Creek? I don't know.
I'm a big fan of having your brand the same across everything,
Yeah.
But yeah. Start somewhere and work your way through. But Mike Sparks on MeWe's the way to go.
Yeah, there's a lot of Mike Sparkses on there, but I don't know if I got my face on there. I don't know. So yeah, maybe comment on a YouTube video or something. Maybe that might work. I do watch that. I try to interact with people that if they spend time enough to say something nice, I'll say something nice. If they say something bad, I'll say something bad. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Once in a while I'll pick on somebody that leaves a nasty comment, but I got so tired of it after a while. I'm like, you know what? I'll just ignore them.
Yeah.
But no, thanks, Mike. This was fun. I really enjoyed it, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. We will, we'll have to have you back on again down the road if you're up for it.
I have a good time. I try to follow you all the time. I follow Jack. Nicole. You guys are getting it done. So I appreciate your time you put out on your stuff.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And I, consider you a friend. I enjoyed our conversations that we ended up having at LFTN. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, good time.
Well, if you want to hang around in the background for just a second, I'll close the show up and I'll be right back with you.
All right, great.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
I hope you guys enjoyed that. Mike is Mike's a cool dude, man. I don't even know how to put it. He knows how to build things. He just knows a little bit about absolutely everything. So make sure you show him some workshop love. I know I've seen a couple of you on here said you went and subscribed to his channel. Just and for those of you listening on audio only, grab the link. I got it in the show notes. And yeah, just make sure you go by and support him because he is just absolutely always out there putting content out. And he's a busy dude, but awesome all around guy. So I got to say one more time, thanks for Mike coming on. And guys, I always appreciate you coming because I know it's summer. Winter's coming. We'll have more time to be indoors, but I appreciate you guys who come by and hang out live and interact and ask the questions. Remember, Thursday, we have the Milk Crate episode coming up. I'm quite excited about that. And beyond that, guys, as always, stay happy, stay healthy, and have a great week.